Why do you do it?
Well, I think it's just something that, it's like fighting. It's like a battle, but in a nice way, against yourself. It's like pushing your own limits, that's my whole thing from being a kid, like I was always drawing, and I'm always trying to push my own limits. I think that's what it comes down to. But also it's about, I'm quite, sort of creative, and I can fly off the hand, not fly off the handle in terms of moving, but, you can go off, flight of fancy or whatever, but then actually pitching yourself against a piece of stone. I remember the first hit that I did on the big piece. I was just like, formidable opponent, and it is just that basic. It's a carving thing. It's about just chipping away slowly at something. I think I'm the same when it comes to anything, housework, doing anything. It's just like if you just do, 5 minutes exercise every day, eventually after 3 months you're going to feel fitter. So it's just that kind of, it's something. It's about sustaining something and keeping it going. Because some things I can, my work is quite what's the word? Eclectic. I get inspiration from all sorts of different places, and my work takes all different sorts of form. And some people, when they start out their career, have an idea about where they want their career to be in 10 years' time, and then they just basically work at that, and they do one thing, they come up with their brand or their manner, and then if something goes wrong or they realise, I've gone along the wrong track for the last 10 years, there's nothing else. They feel quite lost because there's nothing else. And I always think it's best, the old expression is like, you want to be like a Renaissance person. You want to be able to be an architect, be a sculptor, be a painter. You want to be Leonardo da Vinci, basically. And it's just a mindset, I think, that you just get into. I think it can come down to even getting up in the morning. Like that's a discipline, and it's basically disciplining yourself and setting all those ground rules for yourself so you can be really open and creative. So there's that old expression, it's 5% inspiration and 95% hard work, and I think that's true. You have to be prepared to work hard at whatever it is you do. And I think that's what keeps me going. It's just, I just want to get up in the morning and do something. I see art as a verb. It's about doing, and it's not just about, and I think a lot of artists I know who basically get into, they're sculptors, but then they do virtual sculptures on, I think is it Pictureworks, is it?
Photoshop and...
No, there's a 3D rendering program.
Oh yes, yeah.
And people, make these sculptures in a virtual world, and the only place they can exist really is like in Second Life or something like that, which doesn't actually exist. And it's very much about, the here and now reality. And something I was taught at college was the whole thing about transforming. Transformation is the key to everything, and it's like taking one reality and then transforming that into another reality, which is your piece of work. And so it's transforming yourself. That's why you're all at college, to learn and transform yourself into this person, who's independent. When you leave, you've got the good ground rules just to carry on working. It's about staying hungry, I think, not kind of literal sense, but you just got to have that hunger, and that's what keeps me going, I think. Even when I've been, so skinned that I feel like giving up, but then there's always something that comes around the corner because you've got that impetus, and it just keeps you going. I think that's what I do.
I think that's lots of good advice, because you would have been at college with many people that haven't made a career out of their
absolutely.
out their art.
Yeah, I think out of 20 people I did my degree course with, I think only 3 of us are still working or have continued to work. Most people go for a few years and then they think, oh, I want a mortgage, I want this, I want that. And I've made, quite a lot of sacrifices in that sense. And I didn't have children until 3 years ago. So, but that's fantastic as well. I'm sort of, and when I was at college, they said, right, now when you leave college, you've got to now do your 25-year apprenticeship, which is just basically struggling to get recognised, to get all these different things. But nowadays it happens so much quicker because we do live in a youth culture, and people who have left college, people like me, if I go into a fresh situation, they kind of look at me like, it's a bit old, and people who are fresh out of college now, back get snapped up. People have got ideas which people want, and I think it's about the education system now is much, much better. It prepares, gives you all that groundwork. All I was taught at college was how to make art. I wasn't taught how to approach organisations, people. We weren't taught any of that stuff. I've learnt that gradually over the years, sort of thing, through trial and error. And so yeah, but there's lots and lots of opportunities out there, and it's about just wanting to go and get them.